Welcome to our Cleancast today, and a Happy New Year to you. If you're watching this on January the 2nd, I hope that you survived without too many headaches. If you're watching it later in the week, Happy New Year anyway. We're just happy to have you on board, happy to have you here, and we're starting a brand new year and producing the Cleancasts for you, and I hope you'll find them I was going to say entertaining, but I don't necessarily mean entertaining, because I want them to be something that helps you grow your business and grow your people and grow yourself. And so I've entitled this The Challenges of 2017. And I'm just asking the question, what do you see as the major challenges for your company in the year 2017? And once you've identified those, what are you going to do about meeting those challenges and to make it a really, truly successful year and happy new year? You know, I have a lot of people talk to me about, I saw this book and I saw that business book, and and I've read many business books, as you could well imagine, and there's some outstanding ones out there. But a week doesn't go by that I don't read about, you got to have this book. I just read one last week about you got to read these 3 books in order to be in the cleaning business. And not one of them had anything to do with cleaning, but that's okay, because what I'm going to talk about doesn't either. But nevertheless, I've read so many of those books. And you know what? The one thing I always do is I come back to the one book that started me on my journey toward the end, toward where I went and where I'm going and where I have been. And that's a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And it was written by Napoleon Hill in 1937. So that's about 80 years ago. It is 80 years ago, isn't it? We're in 2017, that's 80 years ago. 80 years ago this year that he wrote that book. He actually died in 1970. Over 20, at that time, but at the time he died, there were over 20 million copies of his book that had been sold. And it has, at that time, was the 6th, in 2005, it was the 6th largest selling book on business ever in the world. Think and Grow Rich. And this came to me, was given to me by my mentor back in 1969. And he actually helped us form a club of people that we met twice a month, and we discussed becoming successful. And Think and Grow Rich was our textbook. Because in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill talks about the 13 steps toward riches. And we would take each one, we met twice a month, and we'd take one step every time. And you're probably wondering, okay, after 13 sessions, what'd you do? Well, then we went on to Maxwell Maltz's thing, you become what you think about. But our idea, he was quite a bit older than me, and he mentored a bunch of us young business people, and taught us how to run a business, frankly. But I will tell you, he was in the insurance business, and of course, guess what? He carried all of our insurance. And every time we needed more insurance to fund a buy-sell or fund something, call up Bob, I need another $2 million. And how many life insurance people would kill for that kind of a call, But anyway, I'm going to tell you the first step toward riches that he talks about in this book, and then I'm going to encourage you to buy it and read the other 12. But the first step, he says, toward any riches in this world is desire. Desire. If you don't have the desire to do what it is you ain't going to make it. Like we said last week, there ain't no free lunch. He talks about desire, and that's the first one. And that's how we started. We took the first one, then we took the second one, and then we took the third one and just went on through. And everybody had to report on that, what they got out of that particular chapter in his book. And what happened then is, if somebody wasn't prepared, and I think I got exactly out of it what Dick did, then we knew they hadn't prepared. And I'll tell you what, it worked, because I remember I'm taking you back now to 1969, 1970, 71, somewhere in there, 68. And at that time, $50,000 a year was a just unbelievable sum of money. If you could make that. And so he assembled a group of us young punks, together, and over the course of about 2, maybe 3 years, we went through this book and some others, and all of a sudden we realized we were all making over $50,000 a year. And then we had to rename the club. We called it the Century Club, because then it was, we got to get to $100,000 a year. But it was all because of that. This is what started it. Bob O'Connor, my mentor, and this book, Think and Grow Rich, is what started it. So I thought I'd bring it up to you as we start the new year. It might be another one of those business books that you ought to think about reading, but you ought to think about acting on it too. And he also just says in here, in the book, this is not a book you read once. This is a book you read 2 or 3 times. In fact, I had a gentleman come in my office a couple of years ago, and I had it laying on the, and he said, man, that's a great book. He said, I read that thing 6 times. And I said, what are you doing about it? Well, I'm getting ready to get started, And I remember that, nobody ever gets successful by what they're going to do. He was one of those. But anyway, Steps Toward Riches might be a good way to get motivated to look at 2017. Thanks for watching us today, and again, a happy and prosperous new year to you. See you next time.